Hello. Hello, everyone. All right. My live video on Instagram, we're having trouble starting. Okay, I'm live. Hi. Oh, Great Spirit, make me a vessel of your divine healing. So I'm coming on in a very vulnerable state, and I'm doing that very purposefully because I think it is necessary to be extremely authentic when we are healing. I don't usually watch the news. I haven't for a really long time because I've been pretty anti-establishment for a really long time. And I was raised in the Chicano civil rights movement, so I just generally don't trust fucking people in charge. And I also don't want to be affected in my personal spiritual path by my baby's still here. I just needed to come on, so excuse all the things. Anyway, so I don't on purpose watch the news because it infuriates me. And I also need to be extremely honest that when it comes to the injustices of systemic racism in our society, I, as a light-skinned Chicana, as somebody who isn't specifically suffering from that, and somebody who wants to honor Black people and Indigenous people and people who have less privilege in that way in this world, I honestly all the time don't know how to show up because I don't want to be another person posting murder videos of people who love people. So I don't. Today, my sister, my dear heart love, who is my deep sister, called me and was like, "Your silence hurts me." So here I am. And the only way I know how to show up is who I am, right? So, where do I go from here? Great Spirit, please help anyone who sees this and myself and all of us with our privileges to use our privileges to protect people's lives, Black people's lives. Great Spirit, please help us heal ourselves and the fucked up history of the United States of America and colonialism to help all of us move away from this murderous fuck shit into something that heals all of us. So I think where I'm going now is to address, I guess, the healer community, because that's all I really know, or that's how I can show up. When I work with people, no matter what color they are, it is only a full place of healing if we are talking about our histories, okay? We can't fully heal unless we're healing from our ancestral shit, okay? And this is all of us. Now, because I'm a spiritual channel, I have seen the spirit of white supremacy. I have seen the spirit of slavery. I've seen the spirit of genocide. I feel the spirit of rape, okay? These things come packing. And in my white patients, I express to them about their need to heal their colonial shit. What that means for all of us who are walking this world with privilege, with light skin privilege, with white privilege, is to really acknowledge that privilege and then ask people that don't have that privilege how we can show up. And so for me, having been silent because I'm scared to offend specifically the Black people who I love with maybe saying the wrong thing or exotifying or just scared to fuck shit up by saying the wrong thing. That is also a privilege to be scared of fucking shit up. Does that make sense? Like, if I'm not willing to make a mistake, like my white girlfriend, who's one of my best friends since we were kids, who does a lot of anti-racist work, like, if we're not willing to make mistakes, then we're not, like, showing up fully. So if I come and say, like, some shit that is not cool, then, like, tell me, and as somebody who models using my privilege for the good, I say, okay. Just like when my sister hit me up today, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna fucking say whatever I can say, because being silent is worse than fucking up, okay? So that's not lesson number one. Being silent is worse than fucking up. And when you do fuck up, you go, okay, thank you, how can I do better? Great Spirit, may all of the souls that have been unjustly taken rest. So, what does it look like to support Black people and communities of people who are being targeted by systemic oppression? It looks like supporting Black communities and supporting Black businesses, right? Like, this is a capitalist society and it's fucked up, but so much of this is entrenched in poverty as well. Where people, oh, they just cut off my video on Instagram. I'm gonna go back live on there. Where people are, we're just all up in a capitalistic society, so we need to be supporting ourselves in capitalism and supporting people's businesses in capitalism. And so this is a way you could help put your money into Black-owned everything, okay? Buy anything they sell. If you're a white person with resources, reparations is a fucking thing, all right? Like, there's not some woo, 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 oh, maybe one day when the government is reparations. No, like, if you have money, spend it by giving it to people who are not as privileged as you. If you have money, put money into prosecuting killer cops, okay? I'm sorry, Instagram just totally shut my shit off. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Please say whatever you need to say here. Okay, so now I'm going to address some other just anti-Blackness. So there's a bunch of you that might not think you're anti-Black, right? But anti-Blackness is what the United States of America is based upon, right? Myself, coming from a Chicano community, coming from an Indigenous community, there's anti-Blackness in brown communities too, because the government systemically did that, because if the people in the lowers are always scrapping with each other, then they're not gonna revolt, okay? So it is helpful to the system to keep the lowers, if you will. My brain's not working functionally right now because I'm pissed and hurt and angry and a deep. Anyways, my point is we all need to check our anti-Blackness because it's everywhere. I didn't realize until recently, when since I had a baby, I've been watching a lot more television, just like rest-wise. And, like, the shows I used to like when I was a kid, like, steeped in anti-Blackness. My grandma used to watch over and over To Kill a Mockingbird, which is pretty much about, like, some white girl blaming a Black man for her rape and them, like, lynching him. And then it comes out afterwards that he didn't do it, but it just normalizes, like, killing Black people for shit they didn't do. This is steeped in American culture. So if you do not believe that you are like anti-Black, then you are in denial about where you live and how you were raised, okay? So this is the work of all of us, including Black people, and please follow Lady Speech Sankofa. She is on this shit and, like, is such a beautiful human and warrior and priestess and friend. And she will give you labor and you pay her for it. about all of this, but like everybody is anti-black because the system is based on that. And that also runs on the heels of appropriation, because it's kind of like, the analogy coming to me is like porn culture. It's like, if you tell people sex is bad, then you can sell them bad sex for high. So it's like the same thing in a subtle level with like black culture. You like criminalize blackness and then you sell it for profit. So all of this like profit shit and appropriation shit is part of anti-blackness and exotification. Okay? Yeah, they put indigenous and blacks against each other because we were powerful. And actually, my mom's a history teacher. I'm going to be doing a live with my mom soon. She's a Chicana studies extraordinaire and indigenous studies extraordinaire. But basically, the way it worked and the reason, if you want to get historical about why the black and brown divide, specifically when it comes to the mixed blood ancestries of the indigenous diaspora here and the black diaspora, is, and this also speaks to blood quantum, is that the more Indian you were, the more rights you had to the land, right? And then the more black you were, the less rights you had because you came in as a slave. So there was this systemic, like, make people as black as you can with the 1/8 rule, right? So if you were at least 1/8 black, you were black and therefore you had no rights. But make people as white as you can, indigenous wise, because the more indigenous blood you had, the more claim you would have to being a First Nations human. So part of what we need to do is honor our blackness and our indigeneity equally, so that we can be like, you know what, fuck the rules of the system. So every time we are colorism-ing, every time we are saying you're not indigenous enough, every time we're saying like you're not black enough, what we are doing is reifying the colonialist mentality. Okay, we are basically following the rules of the white cis heterosupremacist patriarchy. All right. Dang, I wish I wrote that down. Well, maybe this will yeah, it's fucked up, man. It's really fucking fucked up. Like, I don't have a better way to put it. I'm an academic, I have a fucking degree, but fuck all that shit. This shit's fucked up. Okay. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. All right, great spirit. So where I'm at right now is using my voice to speak out. Now it's pandemic, right? All this shit is coming up. I don't have any answers as far as like how I can, like, I don't believe the system helps. I don't think any fucking law is gonna help. It used to be in the law to be 3/5 of a person is a black person. This shit is just in the United States of bullshit America. I don't know the answers besides every single one of us as we can, doing what we can, speaking up about it, stepping in front of in between cops and black people, like putting our bodies on the line. One of my friends said if you just had a bunch of white women with white babies in front of marches, then nobody would get killed. I kind of believe that, right? Because this is just ridiculous. So please, I actually want to hear from you. Like, help me use my voice. Help me help everybody to be on the healing aspect of this. Like, what do I do? What do I do? What do your white accomplices do? One of the things Lady Speech says is, I don't want allies, I want accomplices. Okay, my partner posted today that no, this shit isn't tragedy. This is systemically meant. Okay, this isn't just like, you can't just, if you're a white person, you can't just write it out, oh, that's so sad. Yeah, it's fucking tragic, yes, but tragedy is an accident. This shit isn't on purpose. Okay, this is built into the system. The reason why cops even exist historically is to protect the white landowners, literally protect the property of rich white people. That's why cops exist. So now it's really no different. How do the people show up? I don't know the answer to that. I just needed to speak on it. Okay? So from a healing capacity, now that I'm a little more able to talk about it, Um, if you are a healer in any community and you are not addressing colonial trauma, you are not doing a full job. I'm going to repeat that. If you are a healer, no matter what color your skin is in the community, and when you put your hands on people, when you talk to somebody and you do not address the violence of colonialism, you are not doing a full job. What does addressing the violence of colonialism mean in a healing capacity? It means talking about what your ancestors did. It means really pulling apart the sins, if you will, of our forefathers. Okay? It means if you are mixed blood like myself, you have to really see that part of my ancestry were a bunch of fucking rapists and the other part were rapees, and contend with that and mourn that, and then do my best to heal my own body and the trauma that lives in my body by going to people who can help me heal. If that means you are a descendant of slave owners and you wish you weren't, it doesn't mean denying it and saying, no, that's not me, or turning away your family fortune, walking away from it. That's not using your privilege. It means being a motherfucking trust fund ass, social justice ass worker and putting your trust fund into social justice work. Okay? Don't fucking walk away and wear your dreadlocks and act like you're so hunky-dory with the world when your ancestors and your family straight up are benefiting off of cotton money or gun money or money that was built on the backs of black people, of immigrants, of indigenous people. It means that you use that privilege and you use that leverage. You use your name. You be the one who says, no, great grandpa, actually that was fucked up. Okay? Because I don't even pay attention to all of this fucked up shit because it literally makes me really upset, but I think clearly it's time for me to pay attention. I know there are people that exist right now who have big names, like I know an Eisenhower, Kennedy, JFK, not JFK, somebody Kennedy is using their family name to address this kind of stuff. So if you need permission, if you're a trust fund kid, if you're a white person with resources, and especially if you know that your resources come from stealing land from indigenous people and stealing lives of black people, then you need to step up, okay? And if you're a person like me who's a light-skinned ass Mexican who has an education, then you need to be like, yo, that's not okay. Use your voice. Use your resources. I regularly buy shit from people of color owned businesses, not just to be like, oh, I shop local, but literally to support people of color because this system is fucked, okay? All right, are more people talking to me about things? I can't even see. Hemp, talking about women about this and help today. Hello, everyone. Wish you wrote that down. Fucked up. Yeah, this shit is fucked up, y'all. I don't know what USDA is. Supporting POC businesses, community efforts, and keep our money in our POC communities for as long as possible. But not even, thank you, Michelle, not even just keeping our money in POC, like literally people who benefit from systemic white supremacist privileged places, specifically and maybe even only putting their money into POC owned business. This is reparations, okay? Give all your money to black people. Give all your land to indigenous people. Give back, give back, give back. It's not enough to be like, oh, well, I totally just donated to this one nonprofit. Nonprofits are poverty pimps and they keep people begging, okay? Give money to for-profit, black-owned and brown-owned businesses. Non-black people show up by amplifying the voices of black people and asking us what we need and how y'all can support. There you go. Thank you, Brujita Guerrera. We have to heal brown people. Don't speak up because they are scared. They feel they have to be grateful to be here. Why should we feel we have to be grateful to be here? I don't understand that. Yeah, a lot of us are scared to, like myself, scared to like offend the Black people I love, right? With saying the wrong thing. But thank you, Brujita Guerrera. You amplify the voices of Black folks. So follow Lady Speech. You can follow Brujita Guerrera. One of my favorite birth workers is Sumi's Touch. She's a Black woman who does midwifery. I'm trying to think of other people. Dr. Rosales Mesa does a lot of good decolonial work. She's a light-skinned Mexican, but is super about amplifying Black voices. I wish I had more resources for you. And I'm being honest. I don't do a lot of like, I get too angry. But I guess my speech says your anger is sacred and it's necessary for right action, right? Grateful to be here. Show up by standing in solidarity outside of social media. Yes. And Thalia, what does that look like? Like going to marches? Does that look like supporting businesses? Does that look like actually if you like see a Black person being hassled on the street by a cop, like step out, just check in, make sure everything's okay for the Black person, not for the cops. The cops are fucking fine. 100% on the dreadlocks. Talking about healing anti-Black within yourselves and your communities. Yes, and healing anti-Blackness within yourself. So healing is really a lot about witnessing, okay? This is my expertise, right? Healing is about noticing. Come to our community, to our homes. Let's talk. Let's get some context. Thank you, Faal. Thank you. All right. So healing, witnessing. Oftentimes, especially when we're dealing with some kind of an entity, they just want to be seen. I can't tell you how many times I've seen like some really wilding out, negative, ugly shit that exists in a person that if you just give it space to look at it, it like turns into like a baby that needs attention. Okay? Our anti-Blackness needs attention. Our pain and everything from the colonialist patriarchy, the white supremacist colonial patriarchy needs attention. We have to notice it within ourselves when it happens. So that looks like when you want to share something on social media that is harmful. Why are you sharing it? For your ego? Like, what makes you think it's okay to share it? That looks like, I mean, honestly, I'm not the person to talk about this. Like, what does it look like, my beautiful melanated brethren, sisterin, kindred, to, taking action other than creating a post or posting someone else's shit. Thank you so much, Brujita Guerrera. Using white privilege or white passing privilege to demand change. Boom. Sochi says yes. IG reposts are not enough. Let's go. Many Kennedys do, but RFK Jr. and Kerry Kennedy are doing some actual work in their names. So look at them. I wish I knew how to contribute, but this has had me in lost for the longest. Where do we even begin? So, Tito, thank you for asking. Where do we begin? Like, honestly, we begin with ourselves. So, really, like, one of my friends said this morning, like, when we start to heal our own stuff, we actually can show up better. So, I want to also address many of you white people, like straight up European descent people living in America. There's this kind of like white guilt overgiving thing that happens, which also isn't helpful. Okay, like what can you do? You give your free time, you give all your money away, and you're actually not taking care of like your you. I've seen this a lot, honestly, as a healer, and white people come and they're so guilty and they're so pained about it that they literally they don't even believe they have the right to heal because of so much guilt about your white privilege. Like, grieve it, accept it, witness it, be like, damn, that fucking sucks that my great granddaddy was that motherfucker, right? But then you like cry through it and you witness it, and when it comes up you feel it, but use that as like, all right, now I know that I have privilege to help. Okay, like living in a guilt place is not helpful, but also living in a giving away too much power place and not taking care of yourself, that is a whole other thing. Like, if you think of like a mom who never takes care of herself, she just gets resentful, right? Of her kids, of her husband, of everything. Like, you don't want to end up being a martyr, because that is like the whole white tears, like, I don't even know the language about it, okay? But like, you really need to take care of your own pain around the fuck shit in the United States of America. Okay, so like me and my healing, a lot of my healing has come from feeling like completely not belonging to the brown indigenous community I was raised with, because honestly, because I had a few cousins who were just assholes to me about being light skinned, right? So like, I've had to like heal the fact that like I've literally had to sit and cry and mourn the fact that I am not browner and I don't fit in the way I wanted to fit in. Like, I had to take time to see that wounded ass little huerita child and heal her. And now I can be like, show up as my full self, because I feel at least I'm on the way to healing. Also, healing is a journey, right? It's not a destination. So you just need to keep letting it show up and then keep addressing it in the moment, okay? Keep addressing it in the moment. Are you a human who walks down the street and then sees a black man and you're like, oh my God, let me cross? Like, not everybody is dangerous and not everybody is safe, but are you acting from a place of anti-blackness that you were taught? Yes. And are you actually, if you tune in, feeling an actual threat? Are you dehumanizing someone because you were taught to be dehumanizing of them? Okay, that's another thing to address in your or anybody's, well, I don't have any slave owners in my personal ancestry, but if you do, there can be many different forms of that, right? Are you acting from a fear of your, literally, you have ancestral memory in your blood of being a dehumanizing slave owner. And a dehumanizing slave owner is scared as fuck for this slave to revolt against them and kill them. So there's literal fear in your DNA, in your white land owning, slave owning ancestral DNA of black people. How do you heal that? Okay, same with indigenous people, right? If you are one of the manifest destiny ass descendants, then you are innately scared of the red Indians, of the indigenous people coming and killing you and taking back their shit in the night. That exists in your blood. So if you are a white person who wants to do anti-racist work, you need to actually feel and be present with the ancestral DNA in you that is the slave owner, that is the rapist, that is the land thief, and fucking deal with that, literally. Deal with it, cry about it, rage about it, feel all your feels about it, and then when you feel all your feels about it and you're willing to heal it, you need to step into the healing place, and that looks like healing, like Talia said, healing our communities too, speaking, using our voices. Okay. Ending lateral violence. Thank you so much, Talia. I appreciate your work, mama. Ending lateral violence. Black and brown people coming together to fight the real enemy, colonialism, white supremacy, patriarchy. Okay, I hear that, ending lateral violence. I personally feel like if you're centering, even if you're fighting against the patriarchy, you're still centering the patriarchy. Okay? I believe in starting new systems. So I believe in supporting one another and averting as much as possible the white supremacist colonialist patriarchy. And that means, to me, supporting each other's businesses. That means, to me, standing up with one another in solidarity as opposed to going and fighting the man. There are a lot of other ways I think that looks, but I'm a restorative justice person, so I want everyone to heal as opposed to everyone to fight. And I know that when it's all fucked up the way it is, it's easy to want to fight. I got really angry today when my partner, because he watches the news, was started, because I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on, because speech is like, why aren't you speaking about it? It's honestly because I don't really know. I mean, I know that there's fuck shit in the United States of America, but specifics, I don't know. So he started telling me specifics, and I started crying, and I got really mad, and I started cursing, because I'm still a fucking hood-ass cursor person, and I will cut somebody. This is a lot, okay? So that's why I'm live. I'm just trying to talk about it, okay? I'm late to the talk. What about those of us with white blood, colonizer blood through rape? Many, both Black and Native folks carry that trauma. Yeah, that's a deep question. I wish I knew how to pronounce your name, Sintkala. That's a beautiful name. I love it. I think one of the biggest places is just accepting that is your history. Okay, when we like accept all of ourselves, kind of like when you're in a 5-step program, or sorry, a 12-step program, you have to say, I have a problem, right? I am an alcoholic. That's the beginning of the program. So you have to say, I am the descendant of rapists. I am the descendant of Indigenous people. I had to be like, I am a light-skinned ass Indigenous mutt. Like, and that hurts. Okay, I had to say, you know, I am the granddaughter of rape, literally, okay, and just sit with that. Stop using the N-word. Everybody stop using the N-word. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Especially if you are not Black. Rosa Clemente, follow her, thank you. ROSACLEMENT. Empowering people to their best potential. So to me, best potential means like the most honest. Okay, like if you're honest about where you're at, even honest about like where your steps are in being anti-racist and what you don't know, that's a good step too. Using your anger to fuel you toward action. Looks like delivering resources to brown and Black communities, Black and brown communities, ending appropriation. If we can offer 1 or 2 resources to the Dene Res, so much help can be offered. If you call yourself an ally, then show up today, 5 p.m. tomorrow, 12 p.m. Saturday, 12 p.m. at Colorado State Capitol. No excuses. If you're an ally, then show the fuck up. I do social media checks in every once in a while. Who do I follow on social media? Do I give myself the opportunity to be exposed to Black, brown, non-cis, hetero voices? Do I follow people who push my comfort? Good one, thank you. Yes to white guilt over giving. I know people like that, and their family took this Indigenous land. Their testimony could have won us this land a year ago, and they won't speak up because they're scared. So you have to face your fear. You have to face your fear of your community. You have to face your fear of losing your status. You didn't really lose your status, right? It's fucking a lot. Want retaliation from other white people. Call out the Karens in the world. Y'all are just as deadly as the fucking pigs. Call out the Karens in the world. Exactly that part. Okay. Your future reflect the Black, brown, non-cis, hetero communities. Yes. Thank you, Jess B. Jess. And healing is not linear. It varies. We can just keep going. Yeah, so our healing is like every single moment you recognize something that is toxic in your own behavior. You give yourself the opportunity to examine that, to feel it, and to work through it. Okay? If you want, I'm a firm believer that if you're a healer, you need to get healing. If you're a self-healer, you need to get healing because you can't see all your own shit. Okay? So you need to seek out people who can help you heal. And that's 1, that's 10, that's 20 people. Okay? That's anybody who you feel called to seek healing from. I encourage, honestly, this is going to sound kind of harsh, but if I encourage you not to support white healers who are not doing decolonial work. If you go to a healer and they're all like love and light, then they're missing a big portion. It's not just about being whole. It's about literally uncovering the historical trauma in our DNA and working from that place. It's not enough to be like, okay, so you come from a violent family. Yeah, let's unearth that violence. Let's unearth the history of slavery in the violence in my home. Let's unearth the history of genocide and rape in my home. Okay, this isn't about my mom and my dad. This is about my great grandparents. Okay, this is about colonialism. Okay. Stop using our struggle to gain more likes and followers on IG by reposting shit. Meanwhile, you're still singing the word in lyrics and making excuses. Yes. Yeah. So this is about like really tuning in to Black people and like asking for what they need. Okay? This isn't like, you're not the protagonist here. You are the literally accomplice. You're the fucking, what do they call it? I was gonna say the side hoe. Address your personal fears. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you everybody for speaking up. All right. So let me debrief. It is necessary for everyone, no matter what color you are, to understand that this is systemic. This is not an accident. This is not an unfortunate tragedy. This is systemic colonial violence that has been going on since the onset, fucking 1492, 1796, since the thieves and rapists of Europe got sent to Rogue Island. Okay, it wasn't upstanding, beautiful, lovely people who came to America. It was literally the people who got like forced off of European land for being not nice, like for being rapists and murderers and thieves. Those are the ones who came over here and decided that they were the fucking forefathers. Okay, this didn't just happen in the East Coast. This happened in Mexico too, with the people who came up through. My French ancestors were fucking gypsy thieves. Okay, they weren't upstanding citizens. So we have to contend with that. We have to be willing to see that shit. Okay, and it is our responsibility as descendants of some assholes to heal ourselves, and in healing ourselves, heal them. To bring the ancestors, the honorable ancestors who are willing to heal to the table and do the hard healing work. And listen to the voices of color that are leading this, okay? Let's see what else. Okay. Whew. More recap. Everyone is complacent in settler colonialism and erasure. Yeah. Everyone's complacent in settler colonialism and erasure. There are voices talking about this. If you really wanted to work, you need to like work on yourself. Check your privilege, check your status, check your anti-Blackness, check your anti-Indigenousness within yourself. This includes like putting raid in your houses and freaking weed killer on your plantas outside. This includes hating on other humans for wanting to come back to the indigenous ways. This includes giving up all your power to the medical industrial complex before trying to see if your community healers can help you out. You know, like, there's so many ways we are all complicit in the system, and it's not an easy one step. All right, I'm healed. I'm a fucking accomplice now. No, it's every day showing up for yourself and your fellow humans in a way that is authentic, and it seeks to unearth the ugly shit that you can be accountable for how you involve yourself in it or not. And I'm no different. Okay, like, I'm here because I wasn't speaking on it, and my sister said, yo. So I'm not sure like what next steps to take. I'm gonna reach out to some of the people that I admire in the work, and maybe we can do lives with them to take actual action steps. I have a naked baby coming my way. Hey, Hito.
Hito, come here.
Ometeo Grace Great Spirit, thank you for this space. Thank you for all the privileges. May I use them to honor all people for all of our healing. Great Spirit, may all of the souls who recently unjustly lost their lives due to white supremacist patriarchy and cop culture, may they find a gentle, peaceful way home. I pray for their families. That their families find peace and healing in the transcendence of their loved ones. Great Spirit, I pray for the ancestral healing of all of the police officers. I pray for the ancestral healing of all of the descendants of white supremacy, that they may work toward the collective healing. And I pray that all of us uplift the voices of Black humans, of brown humans, of Indigenous humans globally. Thank you all for tuning in. Please feel free to hit me up. Let me know how I can do better. And I honor all of you. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, bye everybody.